What is up, my planting people? My name is Lithius and welcome to Roots Ready. Today I will be looking at some plants that I recently purchased from Thailand and just giving you guys an update on how they're doing, their progress, and just let you know a little bit of troubleshooting that I've had to deal with over the last week. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. So we'll go through the plants in order of how they were unboxed, and this first one is the Philodendron bow mark. Beautiful variegation on the leaves. This one is like a solid green, so that will help to photosynthesize, and this one is a probably more balanced variegation on here. So since receiving this plant, what I did with all of them is I placed them in some water just for a day, just like overnight, just so that the plant could rehydrate and absorb some water. So I did that. This plant, from there I placed it into some sphagnum moss, and it's been in this since then. I've had to water it once because it was really dry, and I noticed that when I gave it a bit of water, that there was one leaf that was rotting off as well, and this was a leaf that was trying to unfurl. So I've since cut that off, and that's just to prevent any bacteria spreading to the rest of the plant. So far it's looking all right. It hasn't wilted or anything like that. It's looking like it might be a survivor. But we can go ahead and have a look at the take a look at the roots. So here we go, guys. So I've gone ahead and taken off that sphagnum moss. And as you can see, there's no real change to the roots of this plant just yet. The roots remain the same. There's probably just a little bit of rot just on the end of this root over here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off with some sterile scissors. But apart from that, the roots are very firm, very healthy. And I think it might take a few more weeks for it to start producing some rootlets and start to really bounce back after such a long shipment. Next up in order of unboxing is the Anthurium radicans. I should also say that all of these plants have been quarantined. They're still quite a fair distance away from any other plants. I ensure that none of the leaves are touching any other plants to ensure that there's no transfer of any pests or anything like that. You just never know, so it's just good practice. So I've done that with every single plant here. So with the next two plants, the radicans and the magnificum crossed with the luxurian, I originally had them in a leca only substrate. Now I did eventually decide to remove it because I just saw that there was a lot of root rot. So I won't be taking these plants out of here today, just because of that. But I'll show you some of the leaves and how they've fared so far. So the reason for that is when I had them in the leca solution or in the leca substrate, the plants they weren't wilting or dying or anything like that, but they just kept dropping a lot of roots. And I went in there maybe every 2 days, and I removed quite a lot of roots because there was quite a lot of root rot. So because of that, I decided to go back to basics and put both of these plants in a sphagnum moss. I've put a little bit of leca on top here because I've got like a little I've got a fungus gnat issue, so I've gone ahead and just placed some here just to discourage them from laying eggs in the sphagnum moss. First thing you will notice is that one of the leaves is yellowing. You can see here, and especially underneath, there's a lot of brown markings. If anyone knows why they do this, because I think all of them have a few brown markings, but it doesn't necessarily affect the top of the leaf. So I am fairly confident that I will be losing this leaf, but it's okay because this seems to be the oldest leaf on this plant. So I'm not too surprised that that's going to happen. The other leaves seem to be doing okay. There was a little bit of browning on the tip, so I actually cut that off quite early on. and apart from that, the plant seems to be doing okay. This leaf here, which is probably the newest leaf on this plant, seems to have a little bit of yellowing, not yellowing, but brown marks on the underside. But that seems to have stopped since I've put it in a mainly sphagnum moss solution substrate. I don't know why I keep saying solution. Anyway, yes. So I've made sure that since taking it out of the leca, that both of these plants, this one and the one that I'll be showing up next, I ensured that the sphagnum moss was a little bit wet. So I haven't really watered this plant since putting it in here, and that's just to ensure that the roots have some time to dry out just a little bit. So it's been in here maybe for about 2 days. So I think today, if I feel around in the sphagnum moss, it's still a little bit damp, so I'll probably give them a good watering tomorrow. But for now, they're doing all right. So up next is this bad boy. I still can't believe it. Look at the size of this leaf. It's amazing. It's incredible. I'm just really hoping that this plant doesn't drop its leaves. That's my main aim. But they seem to be doing okay. I've staked both of the leaves up with this bamboo pole, and again, as I said, I had this in a leca solution. This one probably lost the most roots, which is sad, and it's quite a large plant, so I'm worried that it might not have enough, might not be able to take up enough water to sustain itself. But so far it seems to be doing, it hasn't dropped the leaves. The leaves look the same. They haven't wilted any more than when I first got them, which is really a good sign, I hope. Fingers crossed, guys. So again, I placed it, took it out of the leca, placed it back into some sphagnum moss, and they seem to be doing all right. Again, the moss isn't dried out yet, so I'm gonna wait until tomorrow before giving them a good drink with some probably some nutrient water. So I'm thinking some Super Thrive water to help it root up a little bit better. Apart from that, this plant has been doing okay. There's no yellow into the leaves. There's nothing. I haven't seen any bugs or anything like that, but I do ensure that I've sprayed them twice. I've treated them twice for spider mites or anything like it over the past week. So I've sprayed them twice now, and then wiped down the leaf. All of these plants, I have them under a grow light, but not a very super strong one. So it's not intense, because I don't want to risk burning the leaves now. Because when you're importing a plant, you have to really sort of ease them into your space. So you don't want to just chuck them under a really high intensity light. So I have them under a low wattage light, just to suck up the energy. And then as time progresses, I will then look to put them under a grow light that's just a little bit stronger, just to help them photosynthesize a little bit more. But that was it, guys. I am a very, very happy bunny among my wonderful plant babies. Just look at them. Woo, so happy. Anyway, but that was it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think of these plants. If you've gone ahead and checked out Aeroid Cell, for example, to see what options they have, and if you're considering shipping in some plants from overseas. If you have done so in the past, and you have any tips that I could use to ensure that these acclimate correctly, please let me know. I don't want to lose these plants. I don't want to lose the leaves, most importantly. But yes, that was it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and keep planting.